Hey, it's Teddy Swims, and we just had a blast on the Sang Show and talked about a bunch of life and career and, all sorts of other bullshit. Really caught up and made some buds.
Hello, beautiful human. I'm Zach, and we welcome to the studio Teddy, someone who isn't me sometimes, swims.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, buddy.
Anytime. Thanks for being here, bro.
Hey, bro. Thanks for having me, buddy.
I really enjoy, I think tattoos are art. I have a fear of commitment to the point of like, if I put something on my skin forever, I'm going to want to instantly get rid of it. But you, like I'm envious of this. I'm envious of the art that you have put all over your body. Can I just ask, at what age does your tattoo journey begin?
I was 16 when I got my first one, and I was a sophomore in high school, and and at 16, with parents' consent, you can in Florida get tattoos, right? And so we was out there. My niece, I think she was like turning 3 or 4 or something, and she wanted to go to Disney World. And it was probably still too early to take her to Disney World. And not to judge any parents, but if you're taking your kids to Disney World at a time where they probably won't remember it when they get older,
then why?
Then you're just pushing this little girl around in a stroller and she's just crying wearing a Bella dress. You know what I'm saying? But either way,
you're making your life hell. Doing that.
Either way, neither here nor there. So we went to like 3 different tattoo shops, because she was remarried, so she has a different last name. So a lot of them still was like, wouldn't do it because of that last name change, right? And so we finally found one lady in Orlando to do it. Dude, I remember this lady, dude. She didn't even have eyebrows. She had literally 9 hoop piercings that made up an eyebrow. It was the scariest lady. Sweet as could be. I don't know if she's maybe watching this, and she did a good job on the tattoo, so I got it covered. It wasn't because she did a bad job, but I did this. I did a cross with right here on my bicep, a cross with my last banner that ran across, and it had my real last name Dimsdale in it, and then another little banner that said established 1992. Dude, the douchiest douchebag tattoos you can get. As a kid, I didn't know what he wanted to get tattooed, but I just wanted a tattoo. I remember going back to school and cutting my sleeves off my shirts in the football locker room, like, bitches love me, dude. I'm fucking tatted. My boy's yatted. All my boys are dapping me up like, yeah, dude still got yatted. I think we spent like $250 on it. And again, she did a great job on it. But the idea I gave her was just what a douchebag would give her at 16, And I ended up getting it covered, obviously. And nothing against Jesus and the cross. I think it was just more of the Dimsdale and the established 1992 part that I had to go. Like I was going to forget the year I was born and my last name.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Look right over at the bicep. But does that spark something in you that clearly, tattoos are definitely not who you are, but it is a part of your aesthetic and what people see when they look at you. And your story is incredible. We're going to go through it and I'm excited. But does that spark something, that one tattoo that makes you want to keep going? Because I hear that from people who get them.
Oh yes, but they're so addictive, and it's always been my dream too. So when I was coming up, my granddad was a Pentecostal pastor, and he was always very stern by the book. Like, dude, it was years and years before we would could after church even go to a restaurant where there was a bar in it, And finally, as he got close to this family, Armendariz, that owned a Mexican restaurant in town. He knew them well enough, so he's like, all right, we can start going to this Mexican restaurant. I know it's got a bar in it, but it's fine. We can go here. I used to get $10 at the end of the week on Sunday for doing my chores throughout the week. And then, obviously, you got to give $1 to the offering because you got to pay your 10% tithe, And so I'm like, fine, I'll do that. And my brother was such an overachiever. He used to give $5. I was like, you're an idiot. I'm keeping $9. So then we go to the Mexican restaurant after we get done, and I turned all into quarters and just cash out on the 50-cent tattoo machines, And I just sit in the mirror and just cover myself in tattoos as a kid. Maybe I can find pictures of it, but I'm flexing in the mirror, now I'm 9 years old with my tats. And it was a thing, man. It was so many times where people were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I tattooed, before it was like, I want to be a comedian or I want to be tattooed. But it was like as if that was a career, just being tattooed. But that's what I wanted. I wanted to be covered in tattoos.
Do you have enough right now?
Never.
Where's next?
I'm trying to get my legs finished. I still got a lot of area here, and dude, I got my back done probably 2 years ago now, and oh my God, dude, it's the fucking worst pain I've ever been through, and I still haven't finished it, and I'm scared. I gotta finish it eventually, but I'm terrified of it.
What kind of feeling do you have when you are faced with something that actually hurts, right? Like somebody who has face tattoos, palm of the hand tattoos, and there is a part, and maybe not for you, but I know for a lot of people, that people do it for the pain a little bit, right? And when they find that area that hurts to a point where where it's unpleasant, to the point where they can't do it again, like, is there a realization that plays into that?
I don't know. I definitely I don't go to get the tattoo because I enjoy the pain, but I guess there is something a little therapeutic about it too. This endorphin release when you're getting cut into. Maybe that's kind of nice about it, but and maybe my back is just full of nerves, or for me, I always like to get tattoos in places where I can see, like, if you got this leg piece, at least if he's tattooing here, I can see that this is the spot I could focus my pain on, or this spot. And so I guess with my back, there was a thing too that was just like,
you can't see it.
My entire back is just on fire and it fucking hurts, and I want this to end. And also the idea of my tat was just really dumb. So there's this, dude, there's this old picture. I'm sure you might have seen the meme that floats around, and it's Jesus, and he's got the basketball, and he's like crossing up the devil.
Of course.
And so I go to my buddy Derek, my best friend, and this is a tattoo of him. He's done of himself on me, and he's done a lot of my stuff. And so I came with him, and I was like, bro, I want to do this back piece of Jesus crossing the devil. And he's like, dude, we should add Jordan 1s on it. So he's still wearing the garb, with the Jordan 1s. And we never finished the devil, but so it was also one of those things where, maybe if I'd have got something like meaningful and awesome, it would have been worth the pain. But when I gave my entire back to like a 12-hour joke and it still wasn't done, the joke just was not that damn funny. And also, I'm like, I burn really easy, and I'm a fat guy, so I'm not the quickest guy to take my shirt off either. So nobody's really looking at it.
Nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, and I like to say too, even if I'm like boning my girlfriend in our room, there's no position where she's looking at my back.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you're feeling that day.
I mean, unless I'm getting pegged and my ass blasted, but still, even if my ass was getting a whole fucking plowed, that would not be the thing you want to look at either. I'd be like pissed if my girlfriend had that on her back while I was banging. I was like, dude, come on, Jesus, looking at me with these Jordan 1s on right now.
Well, I'm pegging my boyfriend.
Yeah, but this whole premarital sex of pegging your boyfriend. I mean,
it's so fucked. I love it, dude. You are. There's a lot of music to talk about, and I'm like, who you are and your story is very unique. So you talk about being 9 and wanting tattoos. You also mentioned that you're a football player. Football mattered the most in your family.
For sure.
It was that and religion.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
But it's your best friend's dad who recognizes something within you, and a voice that until that moment is laying dormant. Like, when do you sing for the first time?
I guess about my 8th grade summer when I really got to hanging out with Jesse, man. I appreciate you doing that, just research. That's cool, man. Yeah, I guess like my 8th grade summer, I kind of got into it, and I wanted to, Jesse would play guitar, and our buddy Addison he was really the singer, so I was like, all right, well, let's fucking start a metal band. I'll be the screamer, and that's kind of where I first started leaning into. And
is this Heroic Bear?
Heroic Bear was actually not until my senior year we started that, and I don't know if as much research looks like you've done, you might have gotten on YouTube and listened to it, and I'm sorry to hear that if you have listened to any Heroic Bear.
Your MySpace.
God bless you, man. You really did your thing, bro. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
It housed a lot of your music.
I can't can't even imagine what my pictures look like on it. God,
dude, Marry Me Miss Cherry featuring Kay Bizzle.
Come on, no you didn't.
It's about to hit 1,000 streams.
Oh shit.
I mean, I don't know if you're collecting on that or not, but you should get your people on it.
I think I should get a little fucking platinum record, man. Dude, you know, I just talked to him the other day too, man. I hadn't talked to him forever. I'm gonna have to text him when I leave and be like, yo, man, so I was in this podcast and my boy just brought you up, K Bizzle, man.
So let's go back to 8th grade. So that's your first band ever, and there's somebody else singing. How do you tell him that, like, hey, can I take us?
Well,
can I try it?
It wasn't really a band as much as it was like, I'll tell you this, we had more potential band name. We'd started more bands than we ever songs we wrote. You know, I'll tell you that. You know, like with that, at that age, you're just like, anything that happens in life, we're like, oh, that's a dope band name. We're gonna be, and then we'd start another MySpace page, and maybe on your fucking Motorola Razor, we'd have Jesse just strumming away on acoustic and upload that to MySpace and be like, I don't know, some stupid ass name, Demo. And we'd be like, yeah, bro, band. We're a band. This is awesome. But again, I think we had more band names than songs we had written at the time for sure.
It's that familiarity with the internet that really, I mean, you have to feel somewhat comfortable, especially as you progress, as it relates to covers, like. Because you had been sharing something on the internet for so long and utilizing it for what it's worth, I mean, there's some benefits to, even as stupid as it is, just getting it out there.
Oh, yeah, dude. With failing, you know.
That's it.
Yeah, dude, I love failing. It's my best friend, you know. Failure's got to be your best friend, man. What's that one thing they say about the successful person has failed more times than the other person's even tried or some shit.
It's
like
true.
That. And I definitely do. I was so hungry for this, and so even right before this, I was in a bunch of bands that nobody gave a shit about, and I never thought I was going to do the YouTube cover route. I never thought that it was going to happen that way, and it just kind of did, and it like worked really fast, and then I kind of like kicked myself in the ass. I was like, damn, if I'd have done this 2 years ago, but I guess timing's everything too, you know, because like when you ask a question like, when did you? I know, I always say, people always ask me it just like this too, like, when did you discover you could sing like that, you know? And I'm like, I mean, it definitely wasn't like I just opened my mouth and like I was like, oh, and all my friends were like, bro, what? And I was like, oh my God, you hear what just came out of me? It was like, dude, we were bad. I wish Jesse here to tell you that we were bad. We used to go to the movie theater and all the time and kind of sit outside of the movie theater and try to just get comfortable and sing little pop punk songs, and we used to play this game all the time, which is, you know, kids this day and age, I don't know what the f wrong with this. Kids this day and age cannot do. We used to say, play this game called Sorry I Thought You Were My Parents. And it's what you think it is. We'd stand in front of the movie theater and these cars would pull up. You know, and somebody would have their phone and we'd get in there and like close the door and be like, oh shit, I'm sorry I thought you were my parents. Dude, you could get killed nowadays doing shit like that. But we would go out there and we would sing and sing and sing, and man, people would just like, don't quit your day job, or like, you guys fucking suck, or you know. And the thing was, is like I still at this point, I think dynamically I'm a good singer now. I know with the science of how singing works, I made sure I've learned enough about it that I can undeniably I can sing, but we all hate our voices, you know, and I'm sure you doing this, like, even still, you hear your voice so much that you're just like, oh, God damn it, do I sound like that?
You know, it's funny. I've 8 hours a day for the last 15 years. As of July, I've been doing this. And every day for that long, I'd hear myself back to the point where I would hear myself without headphones on and I wouldn't recognize myself.
That's wild. Yeah.
It happens still, like to the point where like I used to make the joke that I wish I could walk around with a little microphone and a processor and like a speaker on my belt loop. Yeah. So that's the way you consume me. Because the other thing too is like, I have this, it's so funny. Like it's not that I hate the way I sound. I just don't feel like I sound myself unless I'm talking like this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not talking like this. It's talking through this, because do you get what I'm saying? Like everything you say right now, you're hearing it back. It's like a loop.
Yeah, and you're kind of hearing it, and it's, I guess, like
it's so
old
isolated
version of itself or something. Yeah,
it's thick.
I'll even say, man. With that being said, I as I've been singing and like longer and longer in my life, and so I recently, within the last year or something, right during the pandemic, I had my friend Carson Thompson, and she's really, we did theater together in high school, and she's like the most incredible singer on the planet, hands down. I mean, nothing holds candle to her. I always like was on her like, man, you should come in. We should write together. We should come in and do something. Record. Come to the studio. Record something with me. And so I wrote a song, sent it to her, and she had wrote this verse and came over and recorded it. And she's so capable and like incredible. And we go to record, the song, and man, she's just overly cautious, and it takes, where you might take a 20-second verse and it takes an hour and a half to record it, because she's like not used to hearing herself in this, and not used to adjusting her voice to what this is, or asking for what she needs out of this to adjust to what her voice is. And and so then you realize like there's just a sport of recording a vocal versus even singing.
Bro, goosebumps right now, because this is an asset or a detriment, right? And it needs to be played like an instrument almost, so you can use it to capture the right versions of yourself. And I've watched enough friends even vocal produce their own records, whether it be in the moment on how they utilize the mic and their placement to the mic. And again, to your point, like, how do you use this for you? And then also what they do in post-production after that is insanity. I mean, you mentioned musical. I want to get back to what you do in the studio, but I want to understand how you go from being a football player to having the guts to go and audition for Rent. And you end up getting the lead role. Like, you are Roger in your high school version of Rent.
That's my senior year. So I had been doing theater for a couple years by then. I got in my sophomore year, and in my senior year we had did Rent.
But who pushes you to do that? Because you were playing football too, right?
Yeah, Jesse, man, he did everything for me, man. His family are just the Hampton family is hands down the biggest inspiration in my life, and his older sister.
And that's a family that's not your own, just friends.
I disagree. They are.
They are your family. Oh, it's gonna bring me to tears.
Yeah, dude, they're the best. I mean, there's times even after school, if I've had shit or I've lost my house, I've lost anything, my job closes down, or I lost a job. I mean, he will hire me his dad will hire me for his commercial plumbing business. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Pay me $12 an hour under the table. Still give me $200 extra at the end of let me live there.
Yeah.
They are the rock. They're the salt of the earth, man. And so his sister was, she was a couple years older than us, and we were sophomores. I think she had graduated the year before, and he's like, bro, we should get into theater. Ashley got into theater. We should get into theater. And as we were really starting to kind of develop our voices and really playing more and stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, I could stand to do that. I'm not like the guy that is great. I still very, very, very nervous on stage. But we get into theater, and I mean, I remember even our first productions I was ever in. I would be so fucking nervous. I'd for like 3 hours just like before the show just sit and stare at a wall and like this and like not say shit to anybody. I would just not eat nothing, just shut down, and I was just so fucking nervous. And I mean, once you hit your first note or line, like boom, it's all gone.
Yeah.
But I would be so freaked out, man. And I remember my first show we did is this musical called Damn Yankees. Me and Jesse did, and we're just ensemble. I think I might have had 3 or 4 lines, right? Nothing serious. And I remember telling my mom my sophomore year, like, Mom, I think I'm gonna be done with football. I don't want to do football anymore. Because dude, I'm 5'7", bro. It's not gonna work out for me on the defensive line. It's just not gonna happen. I could be the fastest, strongest, biggest, but then you got my buddy Rashad, who's like 6'4", 350 pounds. And even if he's fat and out of shape, dude, the college is gonna come and be like, we want that guy. We can work with him. This is as big as this little kid's gonna get. You know what I mean? So it just wasn't gonna work for me there. And
is that a hard realization for you to even come to terms with, or did you know?
I don't know. It just wasn't rewarding. And I mean, I'd see people in sports, football, and anything. Like, dude, they could plan their entire life and give up their entire life for this one thing. And God forbid, like, you break a knee, and then now your whole life and your family's whole life and just like your opportunity to like rescue your family out of like turmoil or the hood or wherever you are, it's like completely ruined because your knee got blown out by getting hit the wrong way, and now everything we built is for fucking nothing. It's all crumbled in front of us, and everything is just gone.
It's terrifying.
Dude, it sucks, man. Because how many fucking LeBrons are there that was like graduated high school last year that was going to be 10 times what LeBron is, but man, God, he came down, slam dunking, came down and twisted his ankle, and it's forever. And now he's just, that's it. That's all he's got. You know, it's just so much. It's just not. Just wasn't worth it, man. And I told my mom. So I remember sitting my mom down. It was like real intervention style. You know, I'm sitting my mom down. And I was like, Mom, I really want to take this theater thing seriously and the singing thing seriously. I don't want to. I don't want to play football anymore. And I mean, she cried and cried, and she's going to the closet and she's getting out all these like pictures and buttons and like magnets she's had over the years. Like, baby, why would you do this to us? We're a football family. This is what we do. Why are you doing this to me? You know, and she's so fucking hurt about it, man. And after finally, you know, she didn't understand, and then finally I got to do my first play, and like I said, I think I might have had all of four lines, and right after the show, she's standing outside waiting for me to walk out the theater, and she's just like crying again, and she's like, oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. You're a star. This is where you belong. You know, Mom all of a sudden sees 3 lines out of my mouth like, my baby, that's where you were supposed to be all along.
But how good does that make you feel?
Oh, it's incredible, man. And you get to, man, a lot of people can't say that they have parents like I do that are, you know, so supportive of this and the way my life, man, it's truly my dad that was like, I'm about to do this trip to next weekend to San Antonio with him. I do every year. He does this. Him and all of his buddies from high school. He kind of grew up towards there, and they all get together since '92, was where I was born. They all get together and they have like one weekend they call guys trip, and they all act like 14-year-olds again, and you know, get drunk as shit, draw dicks all over each other's faces, and just have a weekend of just a bender for guys, and they're all 50 now, you know, and they're getting old. But so I waited my whole life, you know, up until I was 19 to finally get to go, and this is the first year that all 3 of my brothers get to go, and so it's all 4 of us go, and it's gonna be the funnest time ever.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're on the way back. That I was 19 first time I got to go. We're on the way back driving. It's about a 15-hour ride from San Antonio back to Georgia, and we're on the way back, and you know, I'm talking to my dad about music and how I want to pursue it and and my dad was literally like, look, man, because I was in hair school at the time and going to cosmetology school and trying to do that because my mom's always done hair, and so she's like, you know so much about this, you know how to do it. If I get old, you can have my clientele, you can build a clientele, you can work right under me, and then even with a job like that, you can have your, you know, you can schedule your own schedule and work around that for music, you know. And so
not wrong.
Yeah, and so it was a great idea. And so I'm going to school, and my mom, even at the time when I was going to go to cosmetology school, she's like, I'll even go back to school for my cosmetology teaching license, so that way I can like literally just hold my hand like she did through school, like it just fucking held my hand, did my homework my whole goddamn life practically, you know. She's like, I hold your hand through your hair school, and then just all the way through life we'll be hand in hand together. It's perfect for us, you know. And so like, she's the best, bro. She's so supportive. But we're on the way back from Texas, and my dad was like, look, man, if you feel like that you want to do music and this is what you're supposed to do and what you're singing and this is what he's like, dude, do not go back to school. Promise me you'll never go back to school. When we get home, don't go back. Don't do nothing else, accept nothing else for your life. He said, I wish I had the money to help. I wish I could do better for you, but you struggle, and I wish I could protect you from that. But dude, I worked my ass off my whole life for you to be able to pursue what you wanted to. I didn't have the opportunity. You gotta go get this. And here we are 29, 10 years later, and I'm
dude,
got this. And I just will always say, man, and I just, if anybody that listens, I mean, I'm sure there are parents that listen to this, but if you are listening to this, I don't neglect the power of like what you can do for your child just by giving them permission to just can pursue their dreams, because that permission, just the permission of my dad saying, Bo, if you take anything else for your life, I'm going to be mad. This is what you want to do. You can go get it. Don't take nothing else for your life. And that permission was like, boom, all gas on. I'd struggle for the rest of my life. I don't care if I can keep my lights and my water on. I don't care what it is. Like, Dad said, go do this. So like this, I just I just needed that permission from him, and it changed my fucking life.
But by the way, like that permission allows you to do it freely because like the support of your parents, no matter if you want to say it matters or it doesn't, like it definitely does. Yeah. Consciously, subconsciously, it weighs into what you do every day. Do my parents believe in what I'm doing? Do my parents care? Am I making my parents proud? So by like being given that permission, it allows you to go after your dreams unencumbered with no other stress, no other things weighing you down. It allows you to really focus. So is it after that that you really go, I'm going to figure out this covers thing? Or what? Like, what is your first move? Because in the covers world, even within the last 10 years, so that's like 2012, right? It's 2022 now. Covers were like very well underway at that point. Carmen, there's a ton of people, Pentatonics.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very, very, very filled environment. It was not an open lane. Like you had competition.
Sure. But I mean I didn't even start June 25th of 2019 was the first cover we uploaded. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it just recently happened. I was just in a bunch of bands that most of them metal bands grow. Like I was just in a bunch of bands that nobody gave a shit about. I didn't want to take that route. I wanted to like, I'm an artist. I write my own song. And I was always wanted to be in a band. I didn't see myself as like a solo artist or Teddy Swims for any matter. So I don't know. It definitely wasn't like I started the covers there. Or I definitely had to like really get into figuring out and I still think I am figuring out what the this is and who I am and what I'm doing here. And
but not diving right into the covers first allows you to build some sort of foundation as an artist, as opposed to somebody whose sole purpose is to bring to life somebody else's record.
Yeah, I mean, I just threw a bunch of shit at the wall and nothing really stuck. But fuck, I mean, it's failed a whole bunch of time with a bunch of bands that didn't work out, man. And
but you're doing 10,000 hours in the process.
Yeah, hell yeah, I am, man. What is my rocking him right now, man. My second dad, DDP, man, Diamond Dallas Page. He's the greatest fucking person in the world, my hero. The guy that's responsible for me losing like 50 pounds over the pandemic, and just my hero of life.
Are you doing his yoga?
Yeah, dude. He's literally been like been responsible for my life, man. When I was stuck in Atlanta, I got to meet him, and he started letting me come to his house all the time and doing it with me, and dude really changed my entire perspective of life. Like, this guy is the most incredible, groundbreaking, wonderful person. Always has time, just like the most dude, salt of the earth, man. And DDP, he always says this to me. He's like, look, it takes 10 years to build an overnight success, and he's chock full of shit like that. Like,
but it's true.
If you can own this 6-inch piece of real estate right here between your ears, bro, you'll be unstoppable, bro. He's fucking, dude, intense as you can possibly get. But fucking, man, I would not even be alive if it wasn't for that man. He's just fucking changed my life. He really has.
50 pounds.
Dude, I probably put about 10 more back on of tequila while we were on our 4-month little stint of a tour, and wasn't really keeping up with my yoga then. It's kind of hard when you're on the road and treating yourself like shit. And I don't get to be home a lot, but when I do, even for the first couple of days, we still go and get a workout in, and he whoops my ass and gives me a pep talk for a couple hours, and just sends me back on my way. Like, call me if you need me.
That's by the way, that's like really healthy.
He's the best, man. He's the greatest.
So you're in bands, you're doing your thing, you're writing originals, trying to figure out who the fuck you are, still in the process of figuring out who you are as an artist. Is it the covers thing? I want to break down how you create a cover and how you bring to life somebody else's story. Mm-hmm. Well, let's start there. How do you do that? Like when you, Shania Twain, for instance, that cover has 95 million views.
Insane, man.
Where does that start for you?
I guess so it was never really meant to be, like I said, I never thought that this cover thing was where it would go or what I would do. It was,
but it's not what you do. It was a stepping stone to getting people to check out your originals.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even have those as Teddy Swims prior to that, you know. So I had, okay, so I'll tell you just quickly how Teddy Swim starts is, so my buddy Addie Maxwell, he's in my band, my best buddy, and we were in a band called Wild Heart together, and we'd released a few songs, and my best friend Tyler Carter, he was in this band called Issues, they're a metal band, they're fucking badass, and so he's coming over to my our studio where my buddy Lee is, you know, he's always, we're always writing and working, and Tyler's over there getting his backtracks for tour ready for Issues tour, and at the time, me and Addie was like producing a bunch of hip hop beats and sending them out to people in Atlanta or whatever, and so I finally come over one night after work. Me and Addie were working at Chili's at the time together, and he's like, "Dude, we should just do a rap song. Like, let's see what happens." And I'm like, "Fuck, man, okay, yeah, let's give it a shot." And I don't think I'm like, I mean, I can hold my own in that world, but he's badass. He's incredible at everything, and he's just a freak. Play everything, do everything. Nothing's wrong with that kid. It's nuts. It's like a real animator, a 3D renderer, plays every instrument. Pick up a trumpet, like, oh yeah, I still got it. Like, dude, he's a freak. But so we end up doing this one rap song, and it went okay, I guess. Well, Tyler comes over, he hears that, he's like, dude, I'm gonna go on tour, as my solo tour. You guys want to come open for me? And we're like, well, we only have one song. He's like, I'm gone for a month with Issues in Europe. I'll come back, and I start my second leg of my solo tour for Tyler, his album Moonshine. And so we're like, okay, well, we get 30 minutes of music together, and we fucking go. And right before that tour, we all get together, and I'm trying to figure out my names and, you know, shit like that. And I was going by Swims for that, someone who was at me sometimes, and Tyler was like, you should slap Teddy in front of everybody. I calls you Teddy. Teddy Swims. That's fucking cool. And I was like, I fucking hate that name. It's so lame. And they're all like, no, this is cool. And he's like, well, I'm putting it on the flyer. So if you're coming on tour with me, it's going to say Addie Maxwell and Teddy Swims. And I was like, fuck, dude, I fucking hate that. And sure enough, I'm on stage going by Teddy Swims, and I still kind of, I guess it's too late now, but I still don't know how I feel about that. But it's who I fucking am, I guess. So, so we're on this tour, about like 19, I think it was like 3 weeks, like 19 dates or something we did, and we're just rap songs, like just fucking going ham. And my manager and my best buddy Luke, he comes to our like Anaheim, like our areas around LA dates, because he was out here living, and so he's like, dude, there's like, you know, we might have been playing at 20 to 50 people, or sometimes it was 6 people, sometimes it was 100, depending on the place. And he's like, bro, there's something special about Teddy Swims, you know, like there's something like, I know you're rapping and you're just jumping up here and you're not really singing, but people don't even have to know you like sing, and they still are like gravity. He's like, seeing you on stage is just you, and you're just being you, and just fucking, it's like it's more of a stand-up routine than it is even a show, you know. And he's like, there's just something about you being you, you know, like if he's like, if I see you in a metal band, I know you're doing the whole metal guy, you know, if you're in a country group and you're doing the whole whatever that is to take. And so he's like, dude, we should develop and figure out what this Teddy Swims thing is, like start putting gas on that. And so we started writing a bunch of songs for Teddy Swims that were more in this hip-hop leaning area, coming out doing this. And it just happened to be June of 25th of 2019, and I was like, man, it's 10 years since Michael Jackson had passed. I just want to do a cover of like Rock With You, because we found the stems online, and I want to just to pay homage. And we upload it, and
changes your life.
Dude, it was like 2 days later, and it has like 100,000 views on Facebook, and we're like 10,000 followers, and we're like, what the is going on here? Like, this is insane. So at that point, I'm grabbing all my buds, and I'm like, dude, all right, because we're all like in bands or working on other shit. And so I finally come to my boys, and I was like, dude, if we just keep on doing this cover thing like weekly, we just keep on these Tuesdays, just keep going for it. I was like, dude, if you can film, and like you guys can play and you can record, and you know, like we can design, like what like we should just all, you know, just put our effort in this. And I begged all my buds. I was like, dude, just give me 6 months of your time. Please, just give me 6 months. And I know this will work. I know this will work, and everything will be good. Like, we can make this happen. And we basically all, like, Luke, he moves. So my producer, Lee, flies out to L.A. They hop in Luke's Prius, put a fucking U-Haul in the back, and haul a Prius with a U-Haul all the way back to Georgia. Me and all my buddies move into this house together. This is a 5-bedroom house in Snellville, Georgia, and we had my buddy Doran, my production manager, who builds everything. He put like a couple plyboard walls in between rooms, and we'd separate this. We basically separated this 5-bedroom house to a studio with 8 bedrooms, and there's like 12 of us living in this house, and we're just like all gas on this, man. My boys are still working. Jesse's still working his commercial plumbing job with his dad. Man, they're all still working, and waking up at 7, going to work, getting off at 3, all gas on this thing until about 3 a.m., dragging ass the next day to work, and just putting all this effort into it, filming shit, doing these covers, writing shit, whatever we could get, man, whatever we can make happen. And just because I just fucking, it's so funny how it works, because I just made this promise, like, dude, I know we can do this. Just 6 months is all I need. If you guys can all just trust it, 6 months. And insanely enough, all my best friends just move into a fucking house together, are uncomfortable as shit. And June 25th, 2019, we start our first cover. December 24th of 2019, I signed to Warner Records and put all my best friends on salary. A day fucking less than 6 months, bro. A day less than 6 months.
I have goosebumps.
It's insane, right? It just, dude, and just because I made a fucking promise I didn't know how to keep.
Yeah, but you knew. And the truth is, like, online, as toxic of a place as it could be, there is this instant feedback. So you have this ability to understand if you're on the right path or not. And every indicator from that one Michael Jackson cover that literally changes your life. I mean, holy fuck. You knew. You either there had to be a part of you deep down that knew.
Yeah,
no?
There always was. I was never going to give up on this. I was never going to have a full-time job. I was never going to accept anything less. I was going to just work 2 days a week at Chili's, make about $40 a week, and just run through change. Like, do I eat or do I buy a bottle of R&R whiskey today? I mean, that's kind of your fucking vibe there. But at the same time, like, dude, I'd struggle over and over again, and I'd lose every time. I always tell myself, man, there's like one thing about me is like I have to be right, and I have to be doing the right thing. I don't need to win. I just need to know I'm fucking right. I'm not gonna do the wrong thing. No matter how hard life gets, my heart is always gonna be in the right place, and I'm doing the right thing. And I wanted that, and I promised my father too, like, that's all right, Dad, I'm going for this, and so to be able to convince my buds, and again, like, I this has been like my motto for life now, is that make more promises, because the power of like promising my best friends something, and they just put their life like, okay, sure, yeah, if you say so, let's do it, bud. And if I wouldn't have kept that promise, or we wouldn't have kept that promise together, then like, where the f will we be? It's
all of you, though. It took all of you to get it done.
Exactly.
And that's beautiful.
The power of like just making a promise to somebody that you don't know how to keep. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I love you, we're gonna make it work. So at this point in my life, I just, with people I love, I overpromise shit just to put myself in my back at the wall position, because, well, I got to make this happen. I told you I'd do it, so you
got to do it.
Make more fucking promises. I'm not gonna lie to the people you love.
So, what is your creative process when it comes to covers? How do you even start? Like, how do you break down the vocals? How do you choose where you're like? Is there a strategy behind it?
No, there's just kind of like sometimes there was songs that like that were popular at the time we would cover. Some of the songs are just songs I've always loved since childhood, or artists that's influenced me in these songs. And then a lot of them too were like, you only could get asked 300 comments a fucking day to do Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. So eventually we had to do it. Yeah. I still get messages like, dude, do Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. I'm like, dude, by the time it took you to write that and message me that, and even me to see it, just Google Tennessee Whiskey by Teddy fucking Swims, man. If it's not there, then maybe send me the message. But I swear I've already fucking done it. Jesus Christ. Which I do. I love people wanting to get involved and ask me to do stuff, so I don't mean to be a dick, But I was just like, God damn it, just look for it. But there's all how we arrive at a song is just whatever. There's plenty of ways of how we arrive at it, but I just always had them kind of developing a version of it. Like Jesse might have this beautiful acoustic, like open tuning thing he's doing on 1,000 Miles, Vanessa Carlton, and then there was times too, man, me and him forever used to, we used to play bars and restaurants around Covington and my hometown. And dude, at the time, bro, we used to get like, we used to have to split $150 for like 3 hours to cover songs at bars. And if God forbid we even drank, then they take that right out. It'd like, do you want a double whiskey? That's $20 out of that 150 right there. We would literally go home splitting like $50 a piece.
Nothing.
Like 3 hours of music, and you'd have people like, man, one day I'm gonna be so stoked because I'm gonna tell everybody, Teddy sang at my bar because I know you're gonna be a massive super. Teddy sang at my bar, and I used to like think I was getting supported and I was getting loved because people felt that way. But I'm like, how are you gonna look at me and tell me like you're gonna be a big giant superstar before Teddy Swims or anything? You're gonna be a giant superstar, and one day I'm gonna brag to the world that Teddy Swims sang in my restaurant. I'm gonna be, and then you're gonna look at me and tell me that you know that and it's undeniable for you. But then you're gonna make me sing 3 hours of covers for $150 that I split with my best friend and not even give me a free fucking drink.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Are we talking about Sycamore Street Pizzeria?
No, that was my first restaurant that I did.
You sang there though.
Yeah, I did, man. That's where even my pianist and MDJJ, he was first time I ever met him. I was waiting tables there, and he's playing with my buddy Micah, and you know, my whole staff. That was the first place I waited table. My whole staff was like, "Let Teddy get up there and sing." I'm like in the weeds with like 5 tables. I'm like, "Nah, dude, I can't fucking do that right now. I'm covered in
Grease,
pizza grease." And he's like, "Get up there and sing." So I'm in my fucking apron. I get up there and we sing Climax and what's that? Use Somebody by Kings of Leon together, and everybody's floored. And and it's happened to be a thing. So every weekend we'd have somebody come in and play, and I'd be waiting tables, and they'd ask me to get up there and sing, and then put the guy playing probably in an uncomfortable position, like yeah, sure, I guess we can figure out something he can sing, and then I'm so grateful for that shit too. Though they were really wonderful. Our boss Roger there was like always just so. He was really like a fucking champion for me. I was like, just he's also the person that taught me. It was my first time waiting tables, and he taught me the value of something that I'll never be able to forget, because he's like, dude, you were clumsy, you were forgetful, dude, you suck at waiting tables, bro. You were so bad. And he's like, and I go back and look at my receipts, and I go back and see how many regulars you have that come in here. He's like, dude, you're my star. You're like best server here, and you're horrible at your job. But you'd be surprised. Like, he's like, dude, you do this thing where charisma take you so far. People love you, and even if they're allergic to fucking pepperoni, you bring them a pepperoni pizza, they're gonna eat it with a smile on their fucking face because they just love you, dude. And that's the thing. He's like, bro, you're gonna make so much money in this life. Just the power of fucking kindness and charisma is just out of this fucking world. You could shit on somebody's you could shit on us, and with a smile on your face, and they're like, oh shit, I love this stuff.
And do you take these principles and apply them to your life today?
Dude, yes. Charisma takes you so... I mean, I did... my best buddy Tang, my tour manager, he's always like, dude, 80% of this business is being a good fucking hang. If you can do that, you're going to go so far in life, man. It's just... all you got to do is be a decent fucking human. That's all it takes.
So, Broke is your first original that is released on Warner.
Yeah.
Are we nervous to release that, or is it different because... pre-covers, you've already worked to build a foundation as to who Teddy is and could be?
I guess I built a foundation of fans, but
also understanding of yourself, maybe.
Yeah. But I definitely, as I was like kind of coming into releasing original stuff, it's definitely scary, and I think even the first few bits of I'll really credit TikTok and the pandemic to giving me like 2 years of time to write, and TikTok, as much as I hated that platform, I was able to start taking my own songs and trying them on there and letting them work, and that's really been the thing that's turned me from a cover artist to what I am now. But still, there was, even releasing Broke or any songs after that, there was still always a piece of me that's like, and I say it all the time, that like somebody's gonna be like, dude, just shut up and sing Shania Twain, Fat Boy. Nobody cares. Just nobody cares what you feel like. Just sing Shania Twain again. That's my favorite song. Well, that's my first dance at my wedding. Just shut up and sing Shania Twain, you fat. Just do that. You don't have to write songs. Nobody cares about your shit. So there's always a piece of you that's like, and when you cover those kind of songs, man, those are the best songs ever written, Like, and you gotta like, if you're gonna go up there and like go viral singing I Can't Make You Love Me, you better come to the table with songs of that caliber if you want people to give a fuck about your original songs.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
It's true.
and people care about my original songs now, but none of them are of the caliber of "I Can't Make You Love Me." I don't think really any song is of that caliber. So I think that the difference was I definitely put this space in my mind where I wanted things to be so good or up to that level or live up to this standard of this thing, and it doesn't have to, and things don't compare where they don't compete, you know. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be as good, or what is good and what's objective is fucking art.
Well,
right?
it's up to the ears of the beholder, right?
Yeah, sure. So I definitely put this piece of like fear, you know, that I wasn't going to be able to convert this way, and I even right at the beginning of the pandemic went through this very weird time where I was having this writer's block, and I think we were all really fucked up the first 6 months of this pandemic.
Yeah, because it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
We were adjusting to something that I don't give a fuck. Nobody's gone through that. Unless you are you're a prisoner. I'm so sorry. But to be stuck in one area for...
horrible.
I mean, that's... every human being had to get adjustment.
Yeah, and I think too, it was... And for that whole time I was going through this writer's block, and I'll never be in writer's block again. I realized like the thing about... so I was talking to my aunt one time, and, you know, it was one of these Thanksgivings, a couple Thanksgivings ago, and, you know, she's like, "Baby, you're never home. You never we never get to see you. Every time I call you, you're in LA, you're in Nashville, you're writing this song, writing that song." And it's like, you've had to have written 300 songs. Why you only put up 5 of them on Spotify? And I was like, well, because I gotta write the good ones. I gotta make sure I get the best ones. And she's like, well, why don't you just only write the good ones? And then
You got to write the bad to get the good.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't. And then, dude, it dawned on me that was like the most incredible thing I've ever said. Is like, I can't just write the good ones. And I was like in this place of turmoil where I had this writer's block because I was so worried about me writing good songs and songs I was writing having to be good. But I can write bad songs and it be fucking okay. And so instead of like thinking like, oh, I got to go back and redo this, or fucking this isn't good, or this isn't perfect, like, dude, fuck that. Like, write the horrible songs, because guess what, dude? I got a bunch of them in my phone right now. You are never going to hear about them, my bro. You're never going to hear them.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and nobody has to hear that shit. Nobody has to hear my worst songs. I tell people all the time, man, I'm a giant Beatles fan, giant Paul McCartney fan, greatest songwriter of all time, probably, right? And there's this song by him that was solo record, I think I can't remember, 80 something. If you get a chance, check out this song called "Temporary Secretary."
Okay.
God, dude, it has to be one of the worst songs of all time. You know, again, if I ever get so lucky that I get to meet him, or if he sees this, please, Mr. McCartney, know I respect you. I will kiss his feet. He's the best writer of all time. But he put out a bad song.
Yeah,
and it probably isn't the only one. And it's okay, because he's still Paul McCartney. He's not being held by Temporary Secretary. He's got thousands of hits to back up Temporary Secretary.
Well, that's it. There's other songs to drown out that one. So
and somebody probably loves the fuck out of that song too. Like, there's probably, that's my subjective opinion, that it's bad. There's probably people that think that's the best song he's ever done.
But that's art, right? Like that is fucking art. So do you hear growth between unlearning in 2021 and where you're at today?
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely do. But you know, it's one of those things too where I'm finally at the spot where I'm learning to love what it is about unlearning, that I still can kind of enjoy those songs.
Interesting.
Up until that, but also I still kind of like, when I hear those things, I still feel those feelings, you know, with the way that they were recorded, and understand why we wrote it the way we did. But there's definitely always a piece of you that like looks back at 6 months ago like, oh, fuck, you're so fucking not good. And it always happens, you know. You look at yourself, I'm sure 6 months from now, and be like, oh, why the fuck did they let me put that out? God, the song is not, you know, like there's always some growth that you're going to have, and I think you don't recognize your growth until you're disgusted by what you did 6 months ago.
That is true.
That's the only way you recognize growth. It's like when you look at yourself in a mirror, you don't feel like you're gaining weight until like you see a picture of yourself from 6 months ago, and you're like, fuck, I let myself go, dude. it's you don't really realize that growth are, you know,
You need the reminder.
Yeah, until you see where you were and you're kind of disgusted by it, or so I think and I guess that's the way to say. And I think ultimately too, you know, I at this point I have like a list, and I'm writing still every day, and there's a list of songs and a playlist that I think I've like 300 something songs that I've written over the last year and something, and 2 years maybe, and it's just growing and growing like a weed. And there's some songs I love and some songs I hate, and some songs 2 years from now that'll just find their place, you know, like there's a song on Unlearning called, the last one is called Will It Find Me, and I remember writing that song. Dude, I had just lost my place I was working at in Covington, Irish Bed Pub. It closed down. My transmission went out on my car. My lights, my water was out. My roommates moved out. This is right before all this Teddy Swim stuff happened. You know, I ended up moving back with my dad, and all this shit came after that. But I just lost everything. You know, it was one of those like everything at once just fell apart. Dude, the girl I was dating, I had a kid. She left. Everything fell apart at once. And so I'm sitting in an acoustic in my bathroom where there's some decent acoustics, and I start writing the verses and pre's to that song "Will It Find Me," and my first trip out here, March of 2019, before the pandemic, one of the first sessions I did as a co-write with this guy Ian Kirkpatrick and this guy Rabel. Rabel helped me write choruses and bridge and helped me work on Will It Find Me, because I showed it to him. He's like, oh, we got to write this. You just need a chorus and a bridge. And he spit out some shit, and it ends up like 3 years later.
That's amazing.
Being on my first like Warner project that I'm putting out, and it was just me in my bathroom. I could still show you the voice memo on my phone from like June of 2018, like on my phone. It's insane how things are going to find their spot, you know, or they won't. Or sometimes your favorite song that you wrote you're going to be buried with your favorites too, you know. Is
that what you take away from that or learn from that moment?
Yeah, that if it's meant to find its spot, or if it's meant to come out, it will. But ultimately, my buddy Mitchell Tenpenny says this all the time, man. He's like, dude, you're going to be buried with your best songs. And yeah, probably.
Are your best songs out today, or are they yet to come?
Well, hopefully if I'm doing it right, they'll always be yet to come. But I guess what I think is my best, though, is not really like, you know, my best are always like this fucking artistic, like fucking weird, like, you know, like, or my favorite words that are like so true to me, or my favorite melodies that might not be the, you know, it's sometimes like where it's so rare that the labels like, you know, and they're so Warner's been so incredible to me, and you know, sometimes there is that give and take where they're like, let's put this one out because they're like, this is an undeniable banger, but I'm like, this song fucking sucks, dude. I mean, I'm glad I wrote it. I'll do it, but you know, it's not like, it's not this one, you know. And so we'll have this like give and take of like, well, if we're gonna put that one out, then I'm putting this one out, you know. And so there's always that give and take. But I do find that like my favorite songs are probably the songs that aren't gonna be singles, and they're not the ones that are gonna be everybody's gonna love. It's gonna be like the deep like Teddy Swims fans that like will be like, you know, it's gonna be, my favorite ones are gonna be like deep album cuts that you probably won't know 20 years from now.
But right? Do we want an intersection where the two can cross? Yeah,
I think we got a couple of those. I mean, I definitely like and they're not massive or anything, but like Bet on Fire or like 911. I mean, those
911's great,
dude. Those songs were like, I'm still proud. I love to hear it. If I hear Bet on Fire, I still like when I hear that song. I hear it on recording, and I'm just like, man, we wrote the shit out of that song, man. So there are times where there's a song that works out, and the label loves, and I love, and and everybody listens to it and loves, but it can happen, you know. And if you're doing it right, then hopefully that happens. But it's always going to be a compromise or a give and take on something that someone, you know. I'm not here for. I think the thing about this business is that, and I'm finally learning, is that like, I'm not here to like, I thought forever that like I was writing my songs, and I was like, please validate my feelings. And then, you know, finally all of a sudden thousands of people started validating my little fucking emotional toddler ass, and I'm still fucking like having the same issues, you know, because it's not about somebody saying, it's okay that you feel this way. I feel this way too. It doesn't fucking fix your problem. My job is not to write songs for you to validate me. My job is for you to fucking, I write songs, you give me money, and then when you're at your when you're having your first date with your girl that you're with 3 years from now, you're gonna listen to that song, and you're not gonna think about my precious little feelings. You're gonna think about the first date you went on with your girlfriend, and that, or when you get married to my song "Amazing," like people get married and have this dance, or to our Shania Twain version, right? That's a song that even if it's a deep cut, like for the next 10, 20 years, if their marriage works out,
it's a part of you.
There's always going to be a time where that couple is going to turn on Amazing, and it could happen 50 years from now, and that song is always going to be like, baby, we danced 50 years ago today to this song. It has nothing to do with my precious little feelings or my girlfriend I wrote that about, or like.
But there is something to people hearing what you're going through and being understood by it.
Yeah, totally.
There's a commonality between your struggles and somebody else, or maybe it's not exactly the same thing, but like I believe that like all humans are at least cut from a similar cloth, if not the same one. You know, so the struggles that we all go through, there's like definitely through lines.
But they appreciate mine because I valid their emotional.
Yes.
You know what I'm
totally.
saying?
It's not about the validating yours.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah, you're validating theirs.
I had that so
totally.
fucked up. You know, I had that so fucked up because I was like, dude, I just needed to. You know, even to the point, I always say this, like, you know, I'll write songs, and especially if I'm really going through something like a breakup or something like bad in my life, as somebody that writes every day, all the time, you know, you write, and I'm in a journal, I just write all day, every day. I write. I got to get everything out. But then there comes a time where you write something, and then you're like, okay, I dealt with that emotion, you set it away. But then there comes a time where you overthink everything, overanalyze everything, that you end up writing the same feeling like 100 times, that instead of having the release of that, you have now overthought that and overstimulated every piece of that and looked at it from every perspective, to the point that you now took this little problem that you could have just released into like being the most gigantic problem in your life because you've written it 100 times, and knowing that, God, if this comes out, it also has to pay my bills and the bills of my buddies. So now this problem that I've made into this giant thing is like now responsible for my well-being. Like maybe this girl broke my heart, and this song I wrote about her, or these 20 I wrote about her, are now my well-being, and what's putting food on my table is my heartbreak, right? You know, it's a weird concept what we do.
How do you start a song? Does it start with lyrics? Does it start with writing to some sort of production?
There's different. Sometimes, you know, we'll come with a production. Somebody will have a beat, and we'll start. You know, sometimes we'll just set up a microphone and just yell melodies at it. You know, and just
really
go and maybe I'll do a pass of it. Jesse will do a whole pass of melodies for throw a loop, and you know later on we'll comp some melodies. Like, okay, well this could be a cool verse part. This could be a cool chorus part. Boom, boom. Have the structure of a song based off of just melodies, and we're mumbling just, and then sometimes maybe you might say a sentence, maybe you might say a couple words, or maybe you might have a concept that you're trying to lean towards, but it can happen that way. And then there's like, I guess there's the way you call it, like Nashville style writing. You know, somebody will come in with this concept, like, man, I was watching a movie yesterday and I heard this, and I just really want to write a song about this, and we'll kind of gear towards that. You know, how the song "Amazing" was written, for instance. You know, my buddy Dallas Davidson, he comes in and he said, "Man, yesterday I was, you know, we had our housekeeper come by, and she knocks on the door, and my wife answers the door, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't put my face on. It's early morning. I know I look disgusting." And he's like, I looked over at my wife and I was like, "Baby, you look amazing all the time. Don't ever say that again." And I was like, he's like, "I want to write that. You look amazing. How will you wake up? You look amazing." And we ended up writing that based off this concept that he wanted to have, you know? And so there's ways. Sometimes you run into a concept. Sometimes you have words you fit melodies to. Sometimes you have melodies you fit words to. But there is that sweet, sweet spot. I like to say that, like, I got it from Gabe Bondoc, said it one time on a YouTube. And he said, there's every once in a while, there's times where a melody and words will fall out of you at the same time, and it's just, I guess that's the stuff you needed to say. I watched this video on John Mayer, fucking incredible songwriter too, right? And he says, if you're walking into to write a song and you pick up a guitar, he said it just like this: if you're not immediately Ouija boarding, then you're wasting your time. And he sits on this video and he just like literally, it was a perfect word for it. He just Ouija boards. Like he just kind of fucking starts saying shit, starts singing shit, and just throwing stuff at a wall. Like, and I've gotten into this thing that I'll do, because we do a very we do a very sacred test. Sometimes you with random strangers that you don't know, and then we're like here to write a song together, and then it's so funny because you'll never be in a room where you have a bad idea where somebody's like, get the fuck out, that was horrible, bye, I don't want to work with you ever again. But still, there's something inside of us too that like I even find with new people I write with where I'm like, maybe the chorus is like, I don't know, this might be stupid, this could be silly, but
yeah, you're nervous.
And you have this like weird thing to share, and so you have to be like, you have to just swallow and just be be ready to be horrible or be sure of being shitty and make the big mistake. You got to just, you're not gonna know if you don't do it. And so
easier said than done.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to get used to it and be confident in yourself.
Yeah, and I started doing this thing in mornings. Every morning, if I'm about to go into a session, I'll pull up my laptop and I'll have a mic just like this, and I either have a beat sitting there or I'll put a timer on for 30 minutes. I'll lay a chord progression down, little beat, and I give myself 30 minutes to write whatever I can in that 30 minutes. And it's stuff where I go in and I just sing the first line, hit pause, sing a second line, whatever falls out. And that by the end of it, it sometimes makes sense or it doesn't. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. But if I can get through a verse all the way up to a chorus, I'll go to my session, I'll come home, I'll open it up and I'll listen to it. And sometimes it's dope, and we end up going and like making that into a song.
Interesting.
Or sometimes it sucks and it doesn't make any sense because it's truly stream of consciousness writing. You're just saying, you're just going for it. Just like, we don't make love like we used to. Swear we only because we need to. And you do like, you just kind of just spit like a line, and whether it does anything or not, I call it like brain cardio for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that like a warm up, just to get yourself going?
Well, it's just going ahead and getting the habit of getting the fuck out of my way.
Yeah,
and so I try to do that every morning to just get the fuck out of my own way, so I could just be freely spitting out shit and not be like so worried about it being good.
Interesting. That's really fascinating, honestly, like because doing that allows you to be more vulnerable and creative and open and.
And
not
suck,
give a fuck.
and you can be shitty.
And that's okay.
Nobody's gonna be like, get out.
And if they do, then they're assholes.
Yeah, they're just as happy to have me in that room as I am to be in that room. And ultimately, too, I'm allowed to suck because, man, my buddy Christian says this all the time. If you're the coolest, if you're the best guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
100%.
So I deserve to be able to suck in a room,
It's the process.
Yeah.
Is there something that all of your great songs share? Like a quality that you can find in every great song, in your opinion, that you've ever made? Outside of your voice?
I don't know. I guess, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. I've never looked for like a through line. Yeah, I don't know.
Having a voice like yours, is it a blessing or a curse to have a voice that's kind of its own genre?
I think I say it's a very good blessing. Man, I was the guy I'm about to go write with, and I write with all the time, Stu. We were writing a song the other day, and sometimes you don't know if a lyric's great or bad, or if it could be beat because you push and beat this lyric and it be better. And he's like, well, we just gotta be careful because like, Teddy's gonna get up there on the mic and he's gonna sell you the lyric. So like whether the lyric's bad or good,
you're gonna still bring it to life.
You're gonna make. And I was like, well, instead of us like having to push the lyric, if you think that I can bring the lyric to life, then maybe it's okay if the lyric's not incredible. It's the difference of saying like, I love you to like, I love you. It's the same lyric there, but like the way that it's. I think I'm happy for my theater background because I think the biggest thing about singing is so much more acting and than it is singing. It's so much more of like how you're like what are you saying, and like are they hearing what you're saying? You can say the most bullshit lyric, but if I'm like I'm positive that like I could take the happiest song and put it on a 4-chord ballad and slow it down and make you cry about apple juice if I had to, but I guess I wouldn't say that's a curse by any means, but I'd say it's a blessing for sure.
Hard to be genreless because you can essentially be applied to every genre.
Yeah, then amazing. The reason the reason I would even say that it's that way is like, not only have I had experience in these different places, but I'm as a listener of music, I'm sure you are too. As a listener of music, I love all of these people in these genres for what they do for when I need them to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm listening to Adele, her album, I'm listening to Adele not because I'm going out on my way to the bar with my friends, getting ready to party and have a fucking drink. I'm not listening to Adele right before I go do that. I listen to that when I'm melancholy and sad and I want to cry and I need somebody to, or if I'm just sitting at the house and it's me and my girl with a glass of wine. We put on stuff like that, right?
But you could do all of it.
Yeah,
so could Sam Smith.
Oh, and that's the thing about it is like there's certain genres that lend themselves to, I'm going to listen to Future or Drake if I want to turn up. I want to listen to, if I want to hear like a beautiful story, I'm going to country for that. If I want to be angry, I'm going to metal for that. And there's ways that these genres kind of lend themselves to these certain feelings, right? Like there's a way to be angry in metal music that you can't get out of R&B music. But there's a way to make love in R&B music that you can't get out of pop punk music. There's certain things that lend themselves to these genres, and so and that's the most authentic way to push that emotion. So for me as an artist, I have all of these feelings, and I'm a human that has all of these feelings, just like all of us. So I don't want it to ever be a situation where like you come listen to Teddy because he's the guy that's gonna make you cry, or he's the one that's gonna fucking make you pumped up to go out and party. I want people to be able to like come to me for everything. Like if you want to cry or you want to, you turn me on. I want to be. I want to.
If you want to cry while you turn me on.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to. I want to be able to like, as an artist, have all these emotions, and I want to give you the life. I want to give you like all of your emotions in one. I'm like, I should be able to do that. And as a vocalist or as somebody who studies the voice, I can honestly tell you, I'm like, dude, it's so hard to be a fan of a voice. If I find somebody I love or somebody that can do anything that I can't do with their voice, I'm like, it's going to drive me insane until I figure it out. I have to know how to do that. I mean, this is the most incredible instrument.
It's surreal.
Yeah, I gotta know whether it's opera or fucking screaming or rapping, whatever it is. I have to know how to do it. I got to, and I gotta be able to do it authentically as well when I do it. I got to.
That's beautiful. Really, truly. Teddy Swims, by the way, you got to listen to his music. Link in the description below. We're going to get it all in there. I mean, you bring up acting. The more you talk, when you said that, it all kind of made more sense because you really do apply acting to everything.
Yeah.
It's bringing to life emotion. Pete Talton.
Oh, man. Dude, he just hit me up this morning about fucking, you just say his name, I got chills, man. What an angel of a fucking man that is.
He changed your life too.
God, yes, bro. God, yes.
Theater director.
God, he's thick. Dude, he's the salt of the earth. Him and his family too, all just salt of the earth. God, he did everything for me, man. And even when I was in school, I think like my last year, I think I did like in 2 semesters, I think we did like 9 plays together my senior year.
Wow.
That's all I was doing, man. And truly like what kind of is a point of me graduating school, we wrote this Star Wars musical parody, Swamp we called it, and we would take like songs from other musicals like Millennium Falcon as Grease Lightning, go Millennium Falcon, go, we'd have like One Day More from Les Mis, like use the Force, and like kind of, so we wrote this whole like parody based off of like the first original Star Wars, New Hope, and dude, we sold out 2 weekends back to back, basically like pulled our whole theater department out of debt and like saved the fucking day. And there, I guess we're like, you know what, here's your diploma, you're fine. Go ahead and get out of here, kid. We don't want you to be in grade 10 plus anymore. You got to get the fuck out of here.
Dude, that's amazing though.
Yeah, bro. He has changed my fucking days. And one of these days when I get to where I want to be, we're gonna sit down and write a musical together. Again, that's like we're gonna one of these days, maybe my sophomore album or something.
How do you define success right now?
Man, truly, if you can, when you can share success, when you can put somebody in a position to get it, then that's when you got it.
Interesting. So when you can share it.
Yeah, if I can put my best buddies in a place to be successful in what it is that they're looking to do, then that is ultimately what success. I haven't succeeded until I can give that opportunity to someone. Right?
That's special. Yeah. No, I've asked that question to a lot of people, and I've never gotten that answer. And appreciate and respect it.
No, dude, appreciate the hell of that.
God, please listen to Teddy Swims' music. There's a link in the description below, and he's beyond worth your time. And I thank you so much for
thank you, man.
Hanging out today, man.
Hell yeah, man.
You're really incredibly special.
Dude, you are too, man. I'm glad to be here, bro.
Teddy Swims, bro. Everybody, listen to it. Listen, you have an album on the way? No. Like, you know, it's so funny. You have the record with Meghan Trainor out, which is a great song, but maybe your label was telling me that there could be something. Is that because you are constantly making things?
Yeah, we were supposed to, before that song, we were supposed to have an EP come out like this month, but then the Meghan Trainor thing came up. I just released a song with MK and Burns, an EDM song called Better. It just came out Friday, and then my good pal Linium, we have a song coming out on the 29th of this month together too. So it was also supposed to be coming out this month, but we kind of pushed it back to September because all of these things kind of went through the pipeline. So,
but the EP's done.
Yeah, I think it'll be September. I think it's gonna come out then.
Well,
you never know.
Listen to what Teddy has now. Link in the description below. Plus, we're going to be playing it right here on AMP. I really do, man. I appreciate you beyond.
Ah, man, thank you.
Teddy Swims, everybody.